Good afternoon, students. Today we're going to be talking about the water cycle. We're going to be talking about what the purpose of the water cycle is, what the four major parts of the cycle are, and why it's important to us in our everyday lives. What is a cycle? A cycle is defined as a series of events that repeat in the same order. What comes to mind when you hear the word cycle? Can we give a list of examples? Some examples that come to my mind are the life cycle of a butterfly or a plant, the water cycle, of course, recycling, and bicycle wheels. What is the water cycle and how is it important? The water cycle is when water continuously moves through the earth and the atmosphere and is recycled and reused over and over again. The water cycle shows how water evaporates from earth, rises to the atmosphere, cools, and turns into rain or snow, and then into precipitation and back down to earth. It is a process that is always repeating, and it is important to human life because water is important for us humans to grow and survive, and without it we would die. And if we did not recycle and reuse the water, we would run out of water for humans and all living things. Did you know that the water we drink today has been around for as long as Earth has been around? There are four major parts of the water cycle: condensation, precipitation, runoff, evaporation. Condensation happens when water vapor turns into a liquid and clouds form in the sky. You can see this when little pellets of water drip from a cold beverage on a hot day. Precipitation is when water falls from the clouds, but precipitation is not only rain, it could be snow, hail, or sleet. A runoff is also known as a collection, but it is when water flows into lakes or rivers and the water gets carried all the way back to the sea. While evaporation happens when the warmth from the sun causes water from seas, lakes, and rivers to rise in the air, turning it into vapor and mixing the water and air into a cloud. What fuels the water cycle? Unlike our pedaling when we ride our bikes that fuel our bicycles, the water cycle is fueled by something else. Can we all think about what fuels the cycle? Any guesses? Let's take a minute and think about different things that could fuel our water cycle in our environment. It's the sun. You guessed it. The sun fuels the water cycle by giving Earth energy or heat. The ocean is the largest body of water on Earth that makes up 75% of Earth's surface, while the sun heats that 75% to make the water cycle happen. Alright, now it's going to be our turn to make our own models of the water cycle. For the first activity that we're going to do is we're going to make a foldable model of the water cycle. Each of us are going to be able to make our model using our definitions of the four major parts of the water cycle, as well as what we know about how it rotates. And then we're going to go to the computer lab and where everyone is going to be able to create the water cycle on the computers using an online concept map. Each concept map will include the terms that we talked about, the definitions that we listed on during our presentation, and we are also going to be able to use some creativity, adding pictures, graphics, and anything that we'd like to make our models stand out than the rest of them. And after we are done making our models on the computer, we're going to email them to me, and we are going to share them as a class, and we're each going to be able to present our models and how it's different and explain why we did what we did with our models.